Virtual Campground is a community of RVers. We gather around the campfire to share stories, information, and travel tips that help you on your next adventure. Your camp hosts, Deborah and Barry Benton, are full-time RVers in search of quaint bookstores, cozy coffee shops with great Wi-Fi, and epic photography opportunities, all to share with you. So pull up your chair and join us in the Virtual Campground.
Hey! Oh my God, you're there.
We're so not.
Yeah, we had some serious technical difficulties, and so thanks for bearing with us.
No pun intended, Barry.
Oh, that's funny.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do some work over here. Can anyone hear us? By the way, check 1 2. Looks like the
Jimmy
mic is
says
working.
we are live. So does that mean you can hear us too, Jimmy?
Yeah, looks like the mic is working.
That's good news.
That is good
There's
news.
something.
Well,
Hey, Trisha.
That was a weird start to the. Hey, Trisha.
I'm not really sure what happened. Apparently, I set it up. The one that we gave you the link for, apparently I set it up incorrectly somehow, and the eCam couldn't connect with it. And then it was telling us that whatever I had done, that they wouldn't let us go live. YouTube was saying, you cannot go live at this time. So who knows what happened.
All right. Well, regardless, we are here somehow.
We are. The grace of the Elon Musk, actually. By
Right.
the grace of Elon Musk. We are
That's right.
out in the boonies.
Yeah, we are. Is that
That
sacrilegious?
seems rather sacrilegious. Anyway, we are.
Oh God!
What
we are
is
in
the name of
middle
the town we're in? Do you know?
Well, technically, it's Terlingua. The address is
it?
Terlingua, but it's we're
Far
probably
away
30
from
minutes or
Terlingua.
45 minutes from Terlingua.
Yeah.
I had a picture of our campground. Did I put it in there? I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Darn it. We are out in the middle of nowhere.
Nowhere. I
And
mean, literally nowhere.
I'll see if I can.
feel.
I'll see if I can grab a picture real quick.
It's so yeah, we're about last night we drove out to Big Bend National Park. It was a solid hour, a little over an hour, just to get to the entrance. The majority of that time was spent on the road to get to the highway or back from the highway. I mean, that road was really long. It's a very long 13 miles
Yes.
down the road that leads to this, which is then another mile and a half. This campground, which is called Tin Valley Retro RV.
Rentals. Retro Rentals.
Retro Rentals. Okay.
Because they have they have two
It is lovely.
Airstreams, two Airstreams and a
A
yacht.
couple buses and a yacht. Yeah, the yacht's very fascinating. If you wanted to come out here, and she also has cabins. So if you wanted to come out and just rent a place without having your own RV, you can do that. Or she has about 12 maybe RV spots with 30 and 50 amp. And we have gorgeous views of some mountains. But we are really kind of out here. And I think right now we're the only
We're the only people out
here.
It's,
As far
it's
as I
kinda
know.
crazy.
I think there's one guy out there in the bus. He looks like he's transforming a bus.
And in the morning, it's really noisy with birds.
Oh my goodness, the bird song is amazing. I have gotten so into trying to figure out who these birds are. Liz, hey friend. Yeah, we are kind of patriotic today in red and blue. But yeah, the birds. I have now identified the sound of a cactus wren, and I'm working on. There's several doves. I'm trying to figure out exactly what kind. So I'm getting there. Oh, there you go. That's where we are. See. That's the rig.
Yeah,
This morning on our walk as we look back over the mountain that we are looking at. So, very fun. No cougars. Not yet. I've seen deer. Lots of birds.
We
deer.
do have burros.
Oh, and then, yes.
Not Joe Burrows.
No.
Burrow.
We have 2 burros who like to be loud in the morning as well. And we have roosters and chickens and a turkey. The biggest darn turkey
It's going to be
seen.
a great thing coming around here.
I'm sure he's a pet. Yeah, she keeps poultry of many kinds. Some goats, one that has like the very long, horns, and
it's cute.
It's a cute little spot. Yeah, It's definitely off the beaten track. And no, they do have reins on their mouths, the burros, so I don't know if you can ride them or not.
I'm not going to try it.
But they're very friendly. When we walk near them, they come right up. I'm sure they're looking for us to feed them. But you pet one, didn't you? Pet it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it didn't look like he was interested in being petted. He was interested in eating, and I did not have food, so
yes,
I was not very interesting to him.
Yeah, and the campground owner is very nice, and she actually is needing to go somewhere next week and asked us if we're going to be here if we'd feed the animals.
That's going to be interesting.
So we'll see if we end up being feeders of animals.
We get free eggs.
Yes, we could. I wonder if the ducks are laying eggs. I know the chickens are, but I don't know about the ones just out there in the coop, so to speak. She sort of has some hens over on the other side that look like they're probably more the egg-laying ones.
I'll have to trust you
on
that.
In the pen look fancy. They're the fancy kind of hens,
I'll trust you on that.
Thank you. I don't know my hens, but anyway, but I am learning about birds because it is very noisy in the morning. It's lovely, but noisy. It's kind of interesting to hear them. What I have decided in my very unscientific way is the smaller the bird, the louder they are.
It really is. They're making up for something. It is really crazy. Hey, Steve. Welcome.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Good to see you. And for everyone that doesn't know, Liz Wilcox is in the house, and she used to run this virtual campground.
Much better than we did. Oh, that reminds me, Liz, you're here. Yes. You know what today is?
Yes.
This week is?
Today. Oh, this week?
Well, this week.
Today is
I don't know exactly.
The week of March 6th.
Right.
Congratulations.
So that means March 10th is this week, and March 10th will be our 3rd anniversary of being TBC.
No.
Hosts.
Wow.
Yes. Right, Liz?
She turned over the reins to us that long ago.
3 years ago.
Wow.
Crazy.
Well, that's cool. That's the virtual campground.
Yeah. So we are the virtual campground now. Liz is the founder of the virtual campground, but now she's got it's our anniversary. Now Liz is doing big things.
Oh my gosh, yeah. She is
email marketing. The queen of email marketing. So that's very exciting.
Boondocking with Boomer. Welcome.
Glad to have you here.
Oh my God, David Downs is in the house. Holy smokes, David, you
it's
should be
a big
packing
crowd tonight.
David, you need to. So David Downs is my partner in the other side hustle for photography, and he is should be packing for a trip to go to Oregon because we're taking a few photographers out there. So that's very exciting. I'm sorry I can't make that trip. So I hope you have a great time. Good to see you.
You're going to go out there this summer, though, and David's going to tell you all the places we have to go to photograph.
Right. Yeah, we'll be out there starting June 25th. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
It happens to be my birthday, but that's just a coincidence.
Is it? Is it really? Yeah. The week before that, we'll have been in Wilmette. Damn it, Wilmette. I can't ever do it.
Willamette.
Willamette, damn it. That's
Willamette Valley.
I know it's supposed to rhyme with damn it. That's why I say that, but I can never seem to say it correctly.
Meeting some friends out there that want us to drink a bunch of wine.
And that's somebody else's birthday that week.
Lance is from Canada, currently traveling in California. Well, welcome to the virtual campground.
I'm assuming Boomer is that dog that's in the picture, and you are Lance. So welcome. Glad to have you here.
Very cool. Okay, so we're going to talk about campgrounds.
Yes,
so we're at this
and we want all you guys. We know that you guys have.
We're at this really
insights.
super unique campground now.
Yes.
And we've been
unique.
Full timing for almost 5 years, right?
4.5. Yeah, sure. 5 in August.
August, right? Yeah, 5 in August.
So 4.5.
Okay. My math is different than yours.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 4 3/4 almost. So.
Somebody do the math for me.
Yeah. Johnny, you're good at math, right? Good.
We started in August of 2018.
Steve says we're buffering.
Must be your end because we're on Elon Musk Starlink.
Yeah, we're on Starlink. Elon would never let us down.
We are Starlink with absolutely nothing interfering with the sky between the satellite dish or whatever you call that thing in the sky.
No cell service. So that's not interfering with us. So let us know. Anybody else have us buffering? Buffering here too. Oh, so it's Plano and wherever Steve is. All right. Well, we'll try to fight through.
150-pound Great Dane URV with 100. Well, I guess Barry's RVs with someone larger than that, so I guess 150 pounds isn't that bad.
All right, let's see.
Jimmy's saying we have some
work
latency issues as well,
I'm
so
going
it
to
might
work
be
on
us.
see what's happening with the Starlinks.
The amazing thing, even if we are having some latency, spinning wheels, whatever you want to call it, we are able to actually connect to the internet out here in the middle of nowhere because we have no cell service. So, yeah, so that's impressive. Okay, well now this says we're crystal clear.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, she switched over to, it's interesting, she switched over to YouTube, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said she did.
I don't know, maybe our YouTube channel's a little bit better, who knows. All right, well, yeah, hit that thumbs up, hearts and smiley faces and whatever.
And just bear with us if the internet gods decide we have to be slowed down for a minute. They think we're talking too fast, maybe.
Yeah, could be.
We're trying to slow us down.
Yeah, the latency is all over the place. I mean, well, you can't really see that. Yeah. If you could see that, you could see that the latency is pretty crazy here. So it doesn't like a lot of dramatic streaming. All right, well, let's get on with it. What were we saying?
Campgrounds.
So
we're staying at a quirky one now, and in fact, the last place you had me was quirky. What we have learned so far this year is Barry is not allowed to book our reservations anymore.
I tend to book campgrounds that look interesting, and sometimes they're too interesting. Like the last one we were at. All right, so okay, here's the deal. So when I was looking at the map, Lake Meridian. So I thought that was it? Lake Medina. Lake Medina looked beautiful on the map because it was a big lake and we were going to be right on the side of the lake. And I thought,
surrounded by a lake.
I thought, this is great. Deborah's going to be able to get out on her paddleboard. I'll be able to get out on the kayak and we'll have a fun. No water at all.
I mean, not at all. Like, normally people say, oh, it was low. No. I mean, none.
We rode our bikes in the riverbed, in the lake bed. I mean,
the cows are grazing in the riverbed.
Boats on the side of the road. There's on the side of the whatever bank, and then there's just laying there, and then there's docks that have nothing to really dock. So yeah, it was a little crazy, and there wasn't 30 minutes to get anywhere civilized.
More than 30 minutes. It took 40 minutes just to get to
Bandera, Texas was kind of close.
Grocery store.
Yeah.
So it's not that you can't book. I mean, I don't mind interesting campgrounds. Yeah. Interesting campgrounds that are a little closer
to a coffee shop and a grocery store.
Well, just a little closer to where we want to go. So, like, we passed 3 RV parks on the way into the national park yesterday. So it was just sort of like, okay. Yeah,
and so this one I booked because, well, it was very highly rated, and I couldn't find stuff very close to the entrance of Big Bend, and we just drove by 3 of them on the way into Big Bend yesterday, so that we're much closer than this. So I'm giving up. I'm not booking any more campgrounds, but this is a fascinating place to stay.
No, I mean, I tease you because I can, but all 3 of the ones that you've booked this year have been nice campgrounds in their own way. They've had some interesting feature to them. So that leads to the discussion of campgrounds. Like, what do you guys like in a campground? Do you like it when it is a very manicured, nice, concrete, lots of amenities kind of campground? Or do you like it when you have a little bit of quirkiness or a little bit of character or just a lot of nature? I mean, like, for instance, when we were up in Michigan, the state parks up there were amazing. We loved them because they did have some hookups, but they also were trees and stuff. Some of them were really crowded, like close, but I can deal with that if there's a tree or so in between us. Yeah. So what do you like better?
Oh, I love the trees. Like, if I had my druthers, we would be at places like this, but with trees and less brown.
Yeah, it's hard to do in the desert.
Yeah. But like I had a picture here earlier. I don't know if I can find it really quick, but it was okay. This is it. This is one of my favorites.
Hi, David. Go get packed.
Bye, David. Good seeing you.
No dead fish at the Lake Medina. It was just empty.
But this is outside of Grand Lake. There was a reservoir, and we barely could fit into that space, and that was our view, and it was just gorgeous. We had our own little walk down to the beach, and it was fantastic.
No, I agree, and you're right, Johnny. I also agree. Corky is good. That one though, that was a what do they call that? Not a campground, but a recreational area.
Yeah.
And it was boondocking. There was no amenities at it, so it is an interesting mix. And generally speaking, that's what we do. We do a mix. So we might spend a couple weeks at a place like this, which again, it does have electrical, but it doesn't have sewer and water.
Yeah.
So we can spend a couple weeks here, but then we probably need to go someplace, because we are full-timers, somewhere that has full hookups, sewer and water, because we have to do laundry or, something like that. So there are, different kinds of campgrounds. And I agree. I love Corps of Engineer campgrounds, and we've stayed at a couple. We have a really hard time, though, I feel like, getting into them. One, sometimes we're too big at 36 feet.
Yep.
Two, I think a lot of them are first come, first serve. And when you are this big, it's really difficult to say, we're going to go and just see if we can get in.
Yeah.
It's,
like for that national recreation that I showed outside Grand Lake, we had to just kind of go on a whim.
Yes, we did.
You went out there a little ahead of
Yep.
us in a Jeep, and you found the spot, called me in, and I came.
Yeah, because I actually went to several of those rec areas because they were all like that. They were all first come, first serve. So I went up and down several of them while you kind of were parked someplace in the Jeep to find one, and to find one that you could fit in, because there were several that we thought, well, that's nice, but you're not going to be able to fit there. So give you a hookup and a view. That's right.
So one of my other most favorite spots was outside of course. This is the second one in Colorado.
Okay, you're
I don't know
also
if you're
talking
seeing
about boondocking.
I've seen the theme here.
Yeah,
but
you're
Oh, yeah.
boondocking.
Oh, that's right. This is about campgrounds.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I forgot. Well, you asked me what my favorites were.
No, I said your favorite campgrounds.
My favorite campgrounds are underneath the mountains in Colorado with very few people around. So that's my now this was a campground in Ouray, Colorado, and it wasn't my favorite campground, but it was at a great location. So that's sort of a balance you have to have. Is you may have a campground you don't love, but it's in a place that you want to be in.
Yes. Yeah. But like, for instance, when we were in Ouray, we stayed here at this KOA, which is just outside of Ouray. That's where we had our first Camp Carpe Diem. But we also stayed at the state park down the road, and that was awesome. The state park was great. It's full hookups. It did have cement, but it had the views.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
I
Yes.
love that.
Right, Trisha? Colorado, it rules as far as we're concerned. So, Johnny, now I've gotten so far. I don't think we've shown anything in Michigan. No, we've only been in Colorado so far.
I'm not sure if I loaded anything from Michigan.
That looks like it should be in Michigan with the snow, but that's not.
That's Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
That was a quirky little campground. That campground was a nice campground. It had a bear. Did you get the names of these campgrounds that you're showing pictures of?
This is the Great Smoky Mountain National Campground that I can't remember the name of right now. And look that up on Campendium.
Liz says it doesn't matter. Boondocking, campground. She's just here for the pictures.
Oh, she's my kind of gal.
She is your kind of gal, because you just want to show pictures.
Okay, so this one was interesting. Do you remember this one?
No.
Okay, so this one was Natchitoches, Louisiana, and I don't remember if it was a state park or whatever, but it was very manicured and clean.
No, it was private.
And it was beautiful park.
It was brand new. Yeah, it was all the concrete. Yeah, it was very new.
All the sites were so far away from each other, and it was really nicely done. I'd go back there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little bit boring for me, but yeah.
Okay. So we won't go back there. But Natchitoches was cool.
Natchitoches is fun, yeah, but I don't need to go to Natchitoches that many times. So I've been there like 3 times.
All right, what would you like? What kind of campground do you like?
I like it when it does have hookups just because it's so much easier. But I like it when there is trees and nature. Like I said, the Michigan state parks were great. The Colorado state parks have been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of some of my favorites that we've been to, like Lake Gunnerville, where we met a lot of you guys.
Lake Gunnerville State Park.
I think that
something
state
like
park was awesome. Not the most level
Mm-hmm.
slots every single time, but really nice. And
So what was
just
nice
views.
about that one? Was it that we were so close to the lake?
So close to the lake, plus you had the trails and the hills and deer, and just it felt very nature. But then Gunnersville wasn't that far.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I like being out, but an hour out is sometimes just it. And it's not that I even mind it that often. It's just that if that's your destination, like Big Bend right now, I mean, that just means an hour to get into Big Bend every single time we want to go out that way.
Yep. All right. So just doing a check. Are we still on some? I got a little alert from Elon. Elon texted
Messaged
me.
you directly.
Yeah. Said they were having a little problem. So give me a thumbs up or something if we're still online. Okay. So where do you want to go?
But here's one thing I would like to happen in campgrounds, and y'all tell me if you feel this way too. Because you go on and you do all the research on Campinium, and you look at reviews, and you look at Google Maps, and you do all that you can do, and then you're going to be surprised. Like at Lake Medina, I mean, everything we looked at, it was surrounded by water, so I'm not sure exactly how I was supposed to know it was dry.
Yep.
But the names that people give these places, like the resort name in particular.
That's ridiculous. That's way overused.
Way overused. There should be a rule of you have to have, I don't know, a pool and a clubhouse to be a resort. Or I don't know what the right mix is, but yeah, people that say they're a campground versus resort. The one thing I will give KOA, I don't always like KOAs. A lot of times they're the most convenient, but they do at least have some tiers.
Yeah.
They still not very consistent with their tiers, but at least there are some tiers with the journey and the different names, so you can kind of have an idea. But yes, I thoroughly think the word resort is way overused.
Yeah, it's way. As a matter of fact, that Medina, I think, was a resort. I think if someone says they have a pool, then they consider themselves
and that's great. But I think we've been at resorts that didn't have pools. So, and I guess that just teaches me I should just ignore the word resort, and not think it has anything special. But it would be nice if you kind of knew, like, resort meant they have cement pads and a pool or something, just to have some consistency.
Be certain things that it has
right?
to have.
Yeah, that would be nice. But
I think some of the best campgrounds I think we have been to have not necessarily been the most beautiful campgrounds, but the ones that have had some sort of experience. Like I mentioned earlier, that other one was close to some really beautiful stuff, and Natchitoches, for example. But like the one we went to where was it, where every Saturday the Amish family came in and
that was up
cooked.
in Philadelphia.
Yeah, up in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that was a really cool experience. And then we went to one campground where it seemed like everybody knew each other, and they would get together and play music every weekend. And I mean, those kinds of experiences.
Right. That one was in Kentucky. And both of those situations that you're talking about were seasonals. So seasonal people that were sort of just parked their RV there, and they came every weekend. That one in Kentucky absolutely did. Came every weekend. They came down to the campground and hung out and brought in bands and stuff for the weekend, and the kids could just run around because they knew they were safe. Other people were there. In fact, it was multi-generation. We met a family that the grandparents had started there, the parents had gotten an RV, and now the kids had an RV and were bringing their kids to the park. So those are fun. A lot of times those don't have very many transient, so to speak, RV spots. We just happened to hit that one. I think they had a handful, and it was tight to get in there. Once we got in, we're fine, but it was a little hard to get in. It was also no cell service. That was probably because it was down in the holla.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about the other cool experience we had very early on in our RV experience was going to a campground that was pretty cool campground in itself, but it was just, nothing spectacular. but we got there at Halloween and everyone decorated for
That was at
Halloween.
Tannehill.
That was incredible.
Yeah, Tannehill. That's a state park. That was amazing, and that was quite something that we got in there, because that was another situation where people came and parked there. They knew that Halloween was a
for
big
the
deal
whole
there,
month.
and they were mostly locals, and they came and parked, and they decorated like the way people decorate for Christmas. These people decorated for Halloween. They had Halloween the contests on the decorations. Kids could go trick or treating. It was a big deal. We ended up getting this one random weird kind of spot because we were just there for one night, and that was definitely, we lucked out on getting there. So absolutely, the word resort, I don't think you should get scared off by it, Johnny, because I mean,
Yeah.
I have gone to many that are not pricey at all. That doesn't seem to be the thing that adds to price. Just look at the price. But the word resort is just something I think people use because they personally think it makes it sound nicer, and it does make it sound nicer, but it's not
does.
always the true calling of that particular campground.
All right. Well, I as usual, I've talked too much and I've hijacked the show. So well, let's get us back on course.
You've talked. Barry's talk. That's it.
Just
doesn't
jibber
even
jabber
commute
away.
in my head. Barry's talk too much. Never ever in the 30 whatever years, but that's okay. No, this is the conversation we wanted to have. Was just really, what are the pros and cons, the different kinds. Nice things about the private campgrounds or the campgrounds that are a little bit more costly, I guess, but generally, just nicer with hookups, more concrete level. Those are just going to be, they definitely have the security feel for them, and they have the convenience. They're also usually pretty close to things, but that also means often that they're more crowded, they're tighter. So it's really one of those, like we've stayed at, like this year, in fact, we've even stayed at some extremes. We stayed at Stella Mare in Galveston, which is absolutely a resort kind of situation. Very manicured, totally. I mean, they have green spaces, but very concrete.
Nice
yes, very long, big spots. Pools. It's across the highway from the beach.
Yep.
They have activities, for the people there. Nice pools. So that was very nice. But then you go to Lake Medina, which was, like we said, a little bit more on the quirky side. Definitely more the natural feel to it. Family run, just real home-like.
Yeah.
Now, they did have a pool. They also had a really nice pickleball court, which I know is a big popular thing with people. And they had a lot of what they called resident or camper appreciation activities as well. So, you can get one end or the other end.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about Lake Medina, not that we want to talk about it anymore.
It's just the one that's on our top of our head.
Yeah, because we just left it, and but it was pretty fascinating in that the parents that owned it, the kids talked them into putting some RV slots on their property, and she said, okay, the mom said, okay, you can do it, but don't take down any trees. And so that meant that there was much more natural feel to it because they had to put the RV slots in between the trees, and it was just a nice way to do it.
Made the slots a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit bigger and a little bit quirkier.
Okay, the other really funny thing about this campground, just to say, so Barry went, and I came later because I stopped at the grocery store on the way in, and so I'm driving down the road leading to what it says is the campground. I have to drive through cows.
Yeah, it's got to be a
Longhorn
10-mile
cow.
drive up and down hills, and then you get to cattle.
Yeah.
Go across a cattle guard.
So the people that owned the land had a house up on top of the hill that you had to drive past. I mean, right past. And the cows are they had a fence around their house, and the cows are just all milling about the fence area, including a very longhorn steer. It was kind of like, am I really in the right place? But I was. So very quirky. Okay, so let's see what else. So
Jimmy likes to do. I'm sorry, didn't interrupt. But on the river, so boating and kayaking. Yeah, I wish we would do more of that. We need to work that in. Of course, I thought we were going to do that. We done it. Just to bring that up yet again.
We actually have tried several times in the past couple of months to be someplace that there was water, and either it was too cold, or there was no water, or just other things have just inhibited it from us from being like that. So you just never know. But that's one of the great things about being RVers, right? Is that new fun experience that you weren't expecting, and sometimes it works out really well and you get a nice surprise.
That's a pretty cool find when you find those parks that just have a lot of that sort of decoration going on. They've just got a lot of history and a lot of community to them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Resort equal SEO, so you think they're doing that to try to capture more eyeballs on the website.
You might be right. Yep. So I did read today there are over 15,000 campgrounds. We've only stated about 100 of them, by the way. But there are over 15,000 campgrounds.
Got a lot more to go.
And RV parks in the U.S., which is an increase of 1.7% since a couple years ago. So that's kind of interesting. What state do you think has the most campgrounds?
Got to be Texas.
It is. When you're the biggest. Well, actually, California's the biggest state. But yeah, Texas has the most campgrounds. California's second. So just FYI.
Doesn't seem that way when you're trying to find one.
Some of them are very small. And
sure.
like one time we were passing, what was that little town we were passing through on the way back from Sedona in the pull? And it was just like in the city. It was free. The city offered it as a free little campground. Yeah. Just a lot of times little camps like that in Texas. I think we've run into it in Arkansas as well, where the city just offers, basically it's a parking lot, but some of them have hookups that is just free. You don't even have to pay anything. There's one place in Ellis, Kansas that we've stayed at several times just because it's so easy and convenient for our going in and out of Colorado. Really fun little campground right on the river.
On the honor system. And with, did it have full hookups?
Yes, full hookups. Thank goodness, because it was
because we stayed
cold.
there once when the lake was frozen over, and it was really cold.
Yep. Yeah, because the night before we hadn't, and we froze. Froze up. That was our first few months of camping. So,
all right, what other fun facts do you have?
I think those are most of my fun facts. Oh, did you know it's over a $6.8 billion industry? Campgrounds? You did. Well, you're so smart. All right, so trying to think of some other favorites that we have. Okay, so some of the ones.
Let's look at some pictures.
Okay, let's look at pictures because that's what Liz wants. Exactly. I was going to say some of our favorites that we have returned to. So that's one in Arkansas, right?
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember where it was.
I think that's Lake Dardendale.
Okay.
And we have returned to that one, and I really like that, especially in the fall.
Yeah, the dust is not any fun.
Yeah.
This one. Okay, so there's a story behind this one. This wasn't our favorite, but I was.
This is again one of the very.
Yeah, so I picked this one
because he booked it just for me. He said.
And speaking of SEO, Jimmy, I believed the hype that I read on the website, and it was a neat little spot in a not a harbor. What's it called? Well, a place where boats are, not a harbor, but a pier. No, that's where a bunch of boats.
A marina.
A marina. Thank you. So a bunch of boats in a marina, and they said you'll be parked right next to them. I thought this is great because I was going to have to be away for a few days or something. So, okay, I'll get to that in a minute, Johnny or Jimmy. So anyway, I thought this would be perfect. Well, it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. There weren't boats coming in and out, and it wasn't all that cool and whatever. But
well, the main thing you had said to me, the selling point of this, because he was leaving me alone for a few nights, was that there was a spa at this place. And I was going to be able to get to it. Well, it was associated with a spa, but the spa was, I want to say 12 to 20 miles away on the other side of the lake and up and down hill. So it wasn't something I was going to either be able to bike to or walk to, and he took the Jeep. So, but it was fine.
And the thing was, the way they had the hookups, you had to put the fun side of the rig away from the marina. Thank you, Johnny. All right, so Jimmy, in the software we use, which is Ecamm Live, it just below each comment it says "Add to broadcast." So Corps of Engineers, we're having lots of comments about Corps of Engineers.
No, and I also think if somebody's responding to you, Jimmy, you can write at whatever name they've got.
Oh,
up
is
there.
that what?
And
Oh,
I think
is that what he's talking about?
I think so. It's
How
just
do you
like
do a response to a comment. Oh, yeah, okay.
Just like in Facebook, right? As long as you put that at on there, it's going to highlight their name.
Let's see. Let's try it out.
Well, Jimmy's roll away, not Jimmy. Okay, so can I also say some of the ones we've returned to are some of our favorites, like Lake Caddo.
No,
Do you have a picture of Lake Caddo?
Lake Cat? You know, you would think I would. I don't think so. It's a beautiful lake. I could probably find it.
It's a beautiful campground too. What's this
Yeah,
one?
well, that's the campground. That's yeah. I just tried to do that. Oh, I did roll away, not roll me away.
There you go.
This one. Well, I think those are those the same? No, those aren't the same. I don't think. That was a Corps of Engineers park. Damn it, that's not a campground. Oh,
Again, some of our favorites are definitely boondocking sites that we have found and been in. And like Liz said, boondocking or campground, but it is one of our favorites. Though I think actually this one...
Arizona. Oh, no, outside of Zion.
Zion, okay. Yeah, that one's okay. Oh, it just, yeah, you're just wanting to see if it would pop in. I don't know how that works. So yeah, another.
Oh, dang
that's
it. Not a campground. That's outside of Sedona.
And I don't even think you can stay there anymore. So.
Oh, this is one of our favorite campgrounds.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel, definitely. That was one of the things I was going to say. Your other options are boondocking, which we enjoy. Cracker Barrel, of course, Walmart, but we're not huge Walmart fans, or I'm not. And then Harvest Host, which is the one you just showed, is a Harvest Host out in West Texas.
Yeah.
That is a winery out in Amarillo area. So Harvest Host is a great example. And we use those a lot for when we're traveling, getting from one place to another, going in between the two campgrounds that we're maybe staying in. Or Boondockers Welcome. We really had some good Boondockers Welcome last year. As we were traveling out of New York, we stayed at a couple Boondockers Welcome. One where we got fresh eggs because he had hens.
Yeah.
We like staying places where you get fresh eggs, obviously. Yeah, that was fun.
This was Golden. It was a tiny little RV park almost right in downtown.
Yes, you could walk. You can see the walkway right there over the fence, and you can walk straight into Golden, up to where the restaurants and things were. So it's awesome little park. It was not meant for a camper our size. We had to do it catty corner like that for the spot they gave us. So if you're as big or bigger than us, I think they have one or two spots that maybe would work.
I think there were some other
but
spots.
I wouldn't probably recommend it.
It's a really small campground.
Yeah, it's a very small campground. But there's just not that very many around Denver or on your way out to. We were headed at that point out to Breckenridge. Speaking of.
So Johnny on Cracker Barrel stuff, we don't even try to fit in those slots.
No.
We generally go to the very back of the restaurant and just take up a bunch of car spots, and that usually works out fine. There was one time though we did that on a Saturday afternoon, and then we woke up Sunday morning and the place was packed, and we barely got out of there. But it was great.
Steve, I would not mind Wild Burrows. Sounds kind of fun. I've never heard of that one. We actually have the opportunity, we hope, to see Wild Burrows here in Big Bend. There's supposed to be some roaming about, so we'll see if we encounter any. Well, that looked very pretty.
Yeah, I don't remember where that was, though.
Got to start putting names on these things.
I'm sure my phone will tell. Now, this was an interesting one. This one we stayed at, it's Du Bois,
Mm-hmm.
Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
So we stayed here to go see Yellowstone.
We're 36 officially.
And technically 37.
We're called 36, which technically makes us 37. Okay. Long.
But this one was way too, this one, one of those campgrounds that, everybody was packed in, but they had us here back by the storage shed, and it wasn't a great spot, but hey, sometimes you just got to do it because you want to go see beautiful places.
Again, that was another situation where we were an hour away from the national park just to get to the entrance, and that was Yellowstone, which being an hour away from it, that makes it kind of crazy. That's a Harvest Host.
That's a Harvest Host golf club. This one, oh, this is a private campground. I can't remember the name of it. And this is an
Wow.
example of, this is a Virginia Beach, and just an example of a campground where everyone's packed in together, because everyone, there's real estate was tight and everyone wants to be there.
But see, okay, that would be an example of my least favorite kind of campground.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing of value. I mean, there's no beauty there. Of course, they're just banking on, and you're paying for the fact that you can walk across the street to the beach.
Right.
But it was kind of near an overpass, and kind of just a strange little campground, but obviously very crowded. Lots of people that had been there for a while. It just didn't make me feel comfortable at all. It was one that we went to right after we got off the ferry, coming over from Delaware.
Yeah.
After we had been at Cape May. So those kind of campgrounds where it's just feels like you're just in a big parking lot. That's the kind of campground I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stay at them sometimes, but they're really my least favorite. No shade. No.
The only reason we stay is because it's in an interesting place that we want to go explore.
Yeah. Another favorite, in our first year, was Little Tallapoosa.
Oh yeah.
Just because I like saying it too, which is near Carrollton.
But that was one of those
Georgia.
That was one of those serendipitous moments, where, yeah, you're right, Steve. Where we just kind of stumbled on that campground, and it was such a neat little spot. And then Carrollton was such a neat little place.
Right. Yeah. I think we found it. I think I found it. Because we needed to stay near Atlanta because you were flying out. Yeah. So we needed to be near the airport. And it was actually because I didn't want to stay in Atlanta. And it was one of the closest campgrounds to the airport because it was on the right side of Atlanta to get to the airport, just down in Carrollton. But that was really one of our best weeks of camping, just based on, like you said, serendipitous things that were happening there.
Yeah.
The campground itself was just pretty and lots of trees.
Yeah.
So that was nice as well. So
yeah.
Okay, so what was one of your least favorite places we stayed? Can you think of any to name so people know? You guys, do you have a least favorite place you stayed?
Okay, so you didn't like the gravel parking lot we shared across from Charlotte Motor Speedway?
Oh yeah, that one's not one of my favorites.
I mean that's a great example of where that was essentially. I mean, present company was delightful. We enjoyed hanging out with you, but that was just a big parking lot.
And we enjoyed getting to a couple of places that were around Charlotte.
Oh yeah. I mean,
literally, it is the parking lot of the
Motor
Sportsway. So yeah, you probably don't want to have a long stay there. It was good for what it was needed to be.
No, I mean, if you were a NASCAR fan and you were there and you had tickets and.
Well, I think during NASCAR season, I don't think you can park there in the RVs. I don't know. That was an RV park. Yeah, that was right. Yeah. It wasn't the parking lot. You're right. It was an RV
for
park.
that. Matter of fact, they had entrances so you could walk back and forth. Mm-hmm. So it's. I think you'd have to be a diehard NASCAR fan to love that place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of my other least favorites was the one we stayed at, Quilly's in Vicksburg, because it was, I mean, I don't think we barely got to put out the slides. Our slide went over the person next to us picnic table.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember that.
In Vicksburg?
Yeah, in Vicksburg. Okay. And speaking of Mississippi,
mm-hmm.
we stayed in a place in Tennessee on the Mississippi River. Where's that? No, yeah, Memphis, outside of Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and that wasn't a great campsite, but it was kind of cool that it was, the
mm-hmm.
Mark Twain thing. Yeah.
Yep.
That was cool.
Yep.
50 mile per hour winds.
Yeah, you have to watch. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Steve, because, with Starlink, where I used to look for trees for shade, now it's that I need access to the sky for Starlink. But a lot of the times when you don't have the trees, then you get the winds.
Yeah, true. You get sun. Like this is perfect for Starlink, but we're getting blasted by the sun.
Yeah, and today got up to close to 90 degrees. So just crazy.
No.
But yeah, so you have trade-offs everywhere. There's trade-offs,
That's right.
right? So you just have to decide what's today's trade-off, and they change, depending on the time of year or what we're trying to do, what we would like to see in the area. Maybe we'll put up with a bad campground just because it's easier. Like the one in Vicksburg, we just put up with it because we were going to see family. We weren't going to be there that long. We needed a place as close as we could to the place we were meeting up with family. So, you just do it.
Right.
It's not, those are kind of places you just stay inside your rig for the day, during the day. You
And,
don't sit outside.
Just because it's the nature of our lifestyle, we're not going to be there for years. So it's
Yeah.
not like, well, this is not good. Well, okay, well, we can live with this for a week or 2 or 3 or whatever. And then we'll move on down the road, literally.
But I would love it if we all can come to some understanding of how to define a place and share information on places. Like
Shall we create a consortium?
we should create a
Consortium?
rating system and a consortium that we can do on our forum, where we can share information with each other about this campground is a dirt and great Starlink and close to things. This one's your cement pond and whatever we want to decide. Maybe I'll come up with some ratings and put it on the forum and share it with you guys, and you can get on there and we can start using it so we can share all these great things that y'all have put in the chat. Hopefully does the chat go onto comments? I don't think it does on YouTube.
That's a difficult question for me to answer right now.
So I think it doesn't, because I don't remember seeing it before. So you guys that have put out there some great campgrounds that you've really enjoyed, like Steve and all those engineering campgrounds, put in comments some of your favorite campgrounds, and if you want to also say one for people to maybe avoid that you've found that's not up to standards, so to speak, then put that in comments too, so we can share with other folks. And if you're watching this after live, then please also make comments in the comments so we can start to share, as they say, group crowdsource. Is that the word that people, the hip crowd uses? Crowdsource some of this information and help each other. Like I think Liz even mentioned someplace she's trying to go, and maybe I've not been there, Liz, so I couldn't help you, but yeah, maybe somebody else has been, and you can find some good information.
Yeah, and the challenge with creating rating systems is that everything is so subjective. Like we have friends that we love super manicured sites.
But I'm not saying a rating of hate it to love it. I'm a rating of dirt.
Does it contain it?
Yeah, like one is it has dirt, ground, it has trees, not much else. 5 has cement pads, totally level, pool, and all the fixing a place could have, kind of thing. Just something that we can understand better than what their marketing says about what they offer.
What's real.
I mean, and personally, another thing about campgrounds, I personally never use the pool and don't need all the kid stuff because we're not traveling with kids. Like the most popular campground in the United States is Fort Wilderness and Disney. I know a lot of adults love to stay there. It is really, really expensive. I'd love to stay there 1 or 2 nights. Not going to pay that much money, but I'm not also going to pay that much money because I know I won't take advantage of all the stuff that's there. So why would I spend that much money? The same with there's several really, really popular campgrounds. In the letter last week, I shared a list of top campgrounds. And if you look at the list, they're almost all beach oriented and kid oriented. They have, why would you even need to leave the campground? They've got so many activities and things going on. And
that's the, some of our friends were down at Cajun Palms or something like that in South Louisiana. And the whole resort is designed around, you just go there and you're resorting and having fun with all your friends.
Right. Yeah.
Drinking and playing in the pool and
whatever. That's what I want to know is kind of those things. And that's what I'm meaning, Johnny, is that I'm not trying to say dirt is bad and cement is good. I'm trying to say, I just want to know, is this what kind of place is it? So however we want to give it a word or whatever, so that we're all speaking common language. But, when you're talking about 1 point whatever million campers, I don't imagine we'll get to a common language. But we could try really hard here at TBC to at least be speaking to each other the right way.
So 2 trained themed campgrounds. What? So that's interesting. Wonder what kind of train theme that would be. We stayed with, now this was a Harvest Host, but we stayed behind a toy and train museum, and in fact we did a video about this on our YouTube channel. So that was kind of a train themed.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, we've not stayed at any that were train themed.
No.
They've had trains and cabooses a couple times. One we stayed at. Oh, I can see it in my head. We didn't stay in the campground, but there was a campground that we could walk to. That it was completely cabooses that they had renovated for people to stay in, kind of the way people do Airstreams and things. So
That'd be cool.
it was kind of fun. I can't remember now where that was. That'll bother me. It'll come to me later. I'll put it in comments.
Loves trucks. Oh, so this
They
is
have
new.
a campground now.
Yeah, this is
Oh, I didn't
new.
know about this, Jimmy.
They have recently started. Let's see if I can I make that bigger? Guess not. I can make it smaller. Congratulations on that. So they have started testing, and I don't know if this is a test or they're going to roll this out nationwide, but in some select Love's truck stops, you can actually rent an RV site.
An RV or camp? Or is it mainly geared towards truckers?
No, it's designed for RVers that are passing through. Now, I assume that, Jimmy, if you know better, and I'm sure you do, it doesn't. What I read doesn't sound like it's supposed to be for a long-term stay. But it does give you some level of hookups.
Oh, well, there
And
you go.
it may be full hookups. I don't remember, Jimmy.
Which
let
would be
us know what
great
you know.
because a lot of times when you're going passing through, you might have gone from boondocking someplace else, and that's all you need is one night to
Right.
dump and
Yeah.
fill up with your water.
And you're saying so gravel roads, concrete pad with lots of amenities.
Where was it? Oh, did you say? No.
Didn't say.
Okay.
But
All right.
I saw some sort of announcement about they're starting to roll that out.
So, and then, so in future, we're going to try to, this has been a good topic, obviously. So we'll talk about more, but also we want to talk to some campground owners. We're going to probably try to interview Rhonda here. So if you have questions for campground owners that you would love to know, burning questions, like I would really like to understand better why it's so hard to move slots when they're making reservations. But that's just again a pet peeve of mine. Why I have to move if I decide to extend my stay. But yeah, so if you have questions to ask campground owners, please let us know, and we'd be happy to get the answers for you and put it in a future video.
So the Loves app, you can reserve the campground. So we'll have to look into that nope, overnight full hookups. Okay, so yeah, just meant for traveling through, and so that would be interesting. Jimmy, do you remember
resort amenities, Jimmy? Like what? Again, what are you using
Yeah,
the word resort for?
Yeah. We're going to have to be very specific and intentional on this word resort, Jimmy. We're not going to let you get away with just throwing that around.
Resort, I think if you have a resort, it has to have the minimum pool.
Oh, yeah.
It has to have laundry facilities. It has to have...
Swim up bar.
Not quite, but maybe some activities, a playground for the kids. I mean, something.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right,
Airplane
folks.
rides.
All right. Well, it is 8:01. So...
All right.
We were a little late in starting since we
Yeah.
had some technical difficulties, but this has been a good conversation. Thank you guys. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Changing
Well,
lanes. Okay,
we'll
good.
have to-
We'll have
yeah.
to look it up. Thank
Look
you.
that up. Thank you. All right. Great seeing everybody. Hit
for
that
coming.
like button. Subscribe
comments.
if you are not a subscriber. Appreciate everyone that was new in here, and great seeing you all. Keep in mind, CCD, Camp Carpe Diem's coming up September 28th through October 1st. Love to have you out there. Just go to campcarpediem.com. And we've had a great time the last 2 years. And third year in Kalispell, Montana is going to be a blast. September 28th through October 1st.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Great seeing everybody. Until we can see you again in person, we hope to see you in the virtual campground.
See you around the campfire.